Okay. Other questions right here?
I just wanted to clarify on the ebook thing. You said
Yeah.
that Tor owns the rights to the books that they publish for you. Does that mean that they get all the money for any ebooks they sell? Or
Yes, and then I get 25% of what they get.
Okay, so lower than what you would normally get if you were publishing your own ebook.
Yes. Oh, yes. Much lower than if you're publishing your own. You'll get 75%, but no, actually, you'll get. Here's the thing, and this is why the big battleground. Let's say you've got for ease of computation a $10 book. All right. Normally, with most ebook, if you do it yourself, you're going to make $7.50 per book. Right. If you are with a publisher, they make $7.50 and you make 25% of that, which is math majors, 25% of 7. It's going to be just over $2, right? Or no, just under $2. So you'll make like what, 175 or something like that. Okay? Don't laugh at my my terrible math. So
the other 250 is going to Amazon or the.
yeah, this is going to Amazon or whatever the seller. So. So 25%, it's not a 25% versus 75% comparison. It is a 25%, it's a 75% versus 25% of 75% comparison. Okay? Yes?
It probably goes without saying, but you probably want to be pretty accommodating if you're a new author.
It depends. A negotiation like this for a contract really depends on how excited they are about it, whether other people are offering on it. You're, as a new author and as an established author, the only thing you have as a bargaining chip is to walk away. And how badly they don't want you to walk away determines how many concessions they'll make. And so if you've given it to 3 publishers and they all love it and are bidding against each other, you going with one of those others, like there's a legitimate walk threat. If you've given it to a bunch of publishers and you've spent 10 years trying to get published and one has finally said yes, your legitimacy of walking goes way down and your opportunity cost of walking goes way down. And so at that point, whether you walk or not will really be dependent on how bad the contract is. Now, if you've been self-publishing and you are making a certain amount of money every month self-publishing, let's look at this thing again. Let's say that you're selling 100 books a month at $7.50. Okay, 100 books a month. I know some people who do 100 books a month. That it's not that hard of a level to get to. It's not a blockbuster amount by any means, but 100 books times $7.50 means you're making what, $750 a month. So $750 a month off of a single book means that they're not going to be selling for $7.50. Let's be realistic. You're probably selling them for $2.99. So let's make this more real world. $2.99 is your book by yourself. You're making about $2 off of it, just for ease. You're selling 100 books. You're making $200 a month. Okay. The publisher is probably not going to price theirs at $2.99. They're probably going to price theirs at $6.99. Of which your 25% of 75% is, somebody tell me, that has a calculator or that is like a genius. Okay, none of us are geniuses. What's that? 1.3. 1.3?
Yeah.
Okay, so 130. That's probably what a more reasonable distinction. You're going to be making less per copy, and the question is, will they then sell way more copies than you are selling? And who knows? I mean, 100 copies a month is still a pretty solid sales point for a book. By contrast, Mistborn sells 500 copies a month in print. I don't know what it sells in ebook because I don't get monthly reports. But print, I sell about 500 copies a month of it. One of my standalones, like Elantris or Moorbreaker, sells around 300. So, yeah.
Why are the numbers on ebooks so bad about getting reported? Do you think that's going to change?
The reason they're bad about being reported is that in print books we have something called the Nielsen reports. And Nielsen doesn't do the ebooks because Amazon has no reason to offer them the statistics. Nielsen would report them if Amazon did. Amazon doesn't have to. The reason Nielsen works is because all the big point-of-sale distributors like Barnes & Noble, and there was enough competition in there that they all wanted to know what everyone else was selling. And so they gave their numbers, and in return got everyone else's numbers, and that's how the deal worked. And so it's the Nielsen ratings for books. But with ebooks, Amazon is the big player in the field. They have no reason to give up that information, and so they don't.
So, like, with this Nielsen ratings,
Mm-hmm.
anyone look them up?
No. Anyone can't look them up except Amazon did a deal with them to get your print Nielsen ratings through Amazon if you're a self-published author. So you can get your Nielsen ratings through them. There is some concern of how accurate they are through Amazon. Some of the comparisons aren't necessary, but I get them through my agent. I actually don't get them through Tor. Your publisher will probably not give you these because the publisher basically has, it's not really a, it's just that the publisher, the people who get this are the marketing department who's paying attention to it, and they'll share it with the CEO, but the editor doesn't ever see it, and the editor would be the one who would give it to you. I get it from my agent as a service provided by Jabberwocky. It is a service that Jabberwocky provides for all its clients. Some agents do that, some agents don't. One of the reasons why I like Joshua.
Can you publish through multiple online publishers?
Yes, yeah.
On your own websites?
Yes, but
How do rights work?
the rights with that usually are, remember when you're publishing with a, if you're self-publishing, you are not giving up any rights to Amazon any more than you're giving up rights to Barnes & Noble when they sell your book in the store. The thing that Amazon and basically all of them have is if you put it on sale for one group, you have to put it on sale for the other group. So for instance, you can't put it on Amazon for $2.99 according to Amazon's contract and $1.99 on your website. You have to put it at $2.99 on your website also, and if you lower the price on your website, Amazon has the right to lower the price on their website. Okay? So that's the big question is, will you reach more people at $2.99 on your own, or will you reach more people at $6.99 through the publisher? Who knows? So, all right. So there's your rights. All right? Everyone pretty, yeah, go ahead.
I had a question about in the negotiations, if
Yes.
if they lower your advance, doesn't it really not make a difference if you, I mean, if it's...
Yes. Okay, let's talk about advances. Good question. Assuming royalties are the same, and they're going to be the same for you as everyone else unless you hit the level of popularity like right above Robert Jordan. And I'm not actually sure. I haven't seen his contracts. He might have gotten the slightly better contracts. I haven't seen those. But let's just assume that's kind of like the break point. And after, that's like the Wheel of Time sells like 1 million copies in hardcover in the US, between 500,000 and 1 million. So you go to the next popularity level of like the 2 to 5 million mark. Maybe they are getting, but everybody else underneath is getting basically the same royalty rate. So the question is, if you're getting the same royalty rate as Brandon, why does it matter if your advance? You could have your advance be $1, and at the end of the day, if we both sell the same number of copies, we have earned the same amount of money. And that is true. And that is one argument philosophically that some people follow. This is, you'll find a lot of authors that publish with Baen, which is a smaller house, much more friendly, much more kind of author-oriented than the larger houses. Baen will not pay big advances, but will pay the industry standard royalties, and you'll end up earning the same amount on the end. The argument the other way is the more money that the publisher has to sink into the book up front, the more publicity and the more important a book will seem to the publisher. Whenever you see big announcements of books, it's because the publisher's paid a lot. A publisher paid $5 million for this book. It must, they have sunk this much money into it. They're going to have to do something, right? Something big to make it work. And anytime you see news on a book, it's going to be because they got a big deal. And so the big deal can be its own buzz. And there's it is a sunk cost fallacy. It is a fallacy, but it is the feeling that if you spent this much money for a book up front, you better then sink a whole bunch more into it to make sure that it's a success. Otherwise, you look terrible and you've just wasted all this money, right? So That's the back and forth argument. You don't want to end up, as I've told you before, it is bad to get so large in advance that you are seen as a failure where you otherwise might not have been seen as one. We talked about that in class. But you do want to get a larger advance to basically cement your place in the publisher, in their eyes. Everyone in the company will raise eyebrows if you get 6 figures for your advance as a new author, and they'll say, I have to find out what this book is so I can know about it, because it's obviously going to be one of our lead titles coming up. It has its own momentum. But really, in the end of the day, a good agent and a good publisher, what they're looking to do is find the fair price for a book, so that you're getting up front basically what the book's going to earn in a year is what's considered the kind of fair price. You get that money up front, you get the interest on it, so it is a little bit more money, and that's, in most cases, what they're looking to do. Very new authors, that's going to be lower than that. Very established authors, it's going to be higher than that, for reasons we talked about in class. Other questions? Yes?
So these contracts are being communicated to your agent if you have them,
Yes.
and then your agent communicates to you.
Yes.
Okay, so it's before they have to check with you, and then you talk to them, and they
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Your agent will consult with you, and then you will say yes or no, and they'll give you advice. A good agent is not going to say, is not going to make the decision for you. They're going to try and weigh all these things for you and give you advice and say, I wouldn't sign this contract because of this, but if you decide to, here are the ramifications. Go into it with your eyes open, and if that's something you want, go for it. Joshua wanted to take Elantris and shop it around. He felt he could get a bigger advance if we played the field. He was probably right. I wanted to be with Tor for kind of thematic reasons. I like Tor's books. It's where Robert Jordan was, and I was a big fan of Robert Jordan. I liked their covers, and I liked their hardcover philosophy, and I said I will take less to be with Tor. It ended up working out for me. So, there you go. Those are the big ones.